Hey, everybody. This is Pastor Adam from the Potter's House Church over here in Virginia Beach. And we are going to be reposting an episode today from Testimony Tuesday. We had recorded this a couple of years back when I had the opportunity to go to Creal Springs, Illinois with Pastor Campbell and Miss Connie there. And it was such a great opportunity to be able to talk to her and interview her and get her story recorded. The reason that we are reposting this today is because many of you probably already heard the news that yesterday she went home to be with Jesus. And we want to ask you to pray, of course, for the family, for the entire Chandler Church and the Chandler Fellowship. But we wanted to share this conversation that we had with her again as a way to just honor her life, her legacy, and her memory. For those of you who knew her, you knew that Miss Connie, she wasn't in the spotlight. She was behind the scenes very often, but she is a quiet strength behind one of our fellowship's most influential pastors. And those of you who knew her knew she was full of joy, just always full of life. And I had this opportunity to speak to her a couple of years ago and get her story in her own words. And it's a story of how she found Jesus in a little Illinois church. She's away from home and God radically moves on her life. How she goes on to pray every night. She would pray the first hour of the day from midnight to 1 o'clock until her husband was eventually saved. And of course, he became Pastor Campbell. It's a story of how she learned to walk with God in blessings, in heartbreak. And we want to share that with you again. If you've heard it before or if you haven't, there's a great opportunity to hear her voice and to hear that God works through simple faith of people like Miss Connie. So while you're listening to this, I would encourage you just take a moment to thank God for the lives that have shaped our fellowship. For people like Miss Connie, their faithfulness, people who don't seek the attention or the limelight, but they change the world through obedience, through sacrifice, through patience. So I just want to encourage you, let's remember and celebrate the life of Mrs. Connie Campbell. Please enjoy this interview that we did at Granny's house during the Thanksgiving season of 2023. Thanks a lot, guys. Well, this is a blessing to be able to talk to you, Miss Connie.
Thank you.
It's so fun to be around you guys at this special time of year.
Yeah.
What I was curious when Pastor was driving us around, he talked about how after you had got married, that he brought you back to this small town Illinois, and it was quite a shock for you.
Yes, it was.
Do you remember what that was like?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had no bathroom, barely any running water. We had like an outside faucet in the kitchen. We had to take our baths in a galvanized big tub, and we didn't have a bathroom. We had an outhouse.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, that was a big adjustment for you, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was, because even in Portland, we had facilities. Yeah, it was quite an adjustment.
And did you have the kids at that time?
No.
That was before the kid.
I was pregnant when he brought me here, and then about 3 months later, I had Brad.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So life in small town Illinois, and you must have loved Pastor a lot to come to a place like this.
I did. And I actually love this place.
Do you?
Eventually, at first I didn't like it. And then I left him and went back to Oregon.
Mm-hmm.
And then he come back to Oregon to get me. And we came back and lived here for a while. And I liked it because I finally, at first, all the people he knew, and I knew nobody.
Mm.
And it was always them talking back and forth.
You kind of felt like an outsider.
I was an outsider.
Right.
But when I came back, I made friends with some people, and I learned to love, because in Oregon, we moved all the time. And so I never had any lasting friends, but here I made them.
Wow. So we drove by the little church building where you got saved. Can you share what you remember from that?
Oh, yeah. what God was moving. What can I say? I got saved a few months, actually in the year before our pastor got saved. And
So you were, Pastor kind of described that you were looking for something. You were kind of spiritually hungry.
right, all my life I was like that. And I knew there was a God. I didn't know anything about Jesus to speak of anyway. And when I went to this church, I got saved.
Do you remember who invited you?
Yes, I do. It was Emma Sullivan. And she's not living now. She had 4 kids that burned up in the fire.
Oh, no.
And they live right down the street from us here.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry about
No, that's okay.
And they bathed with my kids, they ate at the table with us, and they,
What a tragedy.
anyway, finally, Emma kept telling me how beautiful heaven was going to be.
Oh, and this was before you were saved.
Yeah.
Wow.
And she told me, meeting her kids again and in heaven, and she just kept telling me the streets of gold and gates, but everything she said was just beautiful about heaven, because she had just gotten saved actually. And anyway, it made me hungry for God, and she wouldn't invite me to church right off. And I kept thinking, why won't she invite me? And I wouldn't go unless I was invited. So on a Wednesday, she invited me to church, to prayer meeting. And the pastor didn't even show up. His wife kind of took over the situation a little bit. And another lady in the church kind of preached. And so they said, let's all come around the altar and pray. And then my thinking, when in Rome, do as Romans do.
Mm-hmm.
So I went up front and never even thought about getting saved. But I started to pray, and then somebody else, one of my other friends, she came over by me and said, "You want me to help you pray?" And I said, "Yes."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
You gave the tissue.
It's all emotional.
Yeah, it's okay.
Sorry.
So this was what was? Do you remember what year it was?
70, I guess.
70.
Pastor said he got saved in 71, so it was 70 that I got saved, 1970.
So we're talking about 53 years ago.
Yeah.
And the emotions are still real for you.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
We anyway, I prayed with my friend, and she started telling me, tell Jesus that you love him, you're forgiving and forgive you and all that stuff. And I did. I got up from the altar. I thought there was a bubble of light around me.
Wow.
I'm in this bubble. I came home and I told Joe, I said, can't you see this bubble of light around me? He was still a sinner. And I think he said no, or he might have, I don't know what he said. I forgot that part.
He told me he was even mocking you.
Yeah, he mocked me, but I didn't worry about it. But then I backslid.
Okay.
A couple of months after, because he kept going out on the weekends and leaving me home, and I couldn't stand that. I had to be with him, and so I went back out. And then the devil spoke to me, because the next day, after the first time I went out with Pastor, he said, I don't want you on my conscience. He said, you're not going out with me again.
Mm.
And I said, yes, I am. And I thought, the devil spoke to me and said, if you keep going out with him, he'll get saved because he don't want you on his conscience. Which
that sounds like a good strategy.
Yeah, I'm sure it was.
Well, what was your relationship with him like at the time? Was there trouble between the two of you?
No. I mean,
but
off and on. I had a spirit of running away as a kid.
Okay.
And after we got married, I ran away 3 different times.
Really?
Yes. And
Sound like he had the spirit of chasing you.
Yeah. And he chased me down every time. And no, I come back home and begged to come back home the last time.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, we could try it. But
so how long was it between the time that you got saved and the time that he came to church and got saved?
Well, when I finally got my heart really right, it was just a couple of months.
Okay.
But God has spoke to me to pray and fast. But fast the evening meal was all, and pray the first hour of every day. So I got up at midnight, went to church.
Wow.
With a friend of mine. She went with me, and I prayed. Here I'm pointing, talking with my hand.
Well, that's right down the street there.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And I prayed every night. He said, "What are you doing?" He didn't believe I was going to church. And I said, "I'm going to pray for you." And he'd like, and I prayed every night at midnight. I prayed the first hour of every day until he got saved.
Wow.
And that was getting up out of bed at midnight and leaving and praying. But
did it? Do you think that it caused any friction between the two of you when you were saved and he wasn't?
Just the fact that I felt lonely because he was still doing his thing, and now I was saved doing something else.
Right.
And
you kind of on two different paths at that point.
Yeah, but I just prayed and thought I want him to get saved, and I was totally shocked when he did, because he was a fighter. He carried a gun. He was even getting to where he was mean to his friends. We were remodeling some of the house, and he'd almost cuss them out when they come over for helping him. And I knew something was up then. And then the church went to another church. They were having revival, and several couples were going. And I told Pastor, I want you, and all of us kept telling him, we want you to go. Can you, invite you and you go? And he said, no, I'm not going. Go invite somebody for supper. So I did. And then I come back, but they had an attitude when I invited them. And I told him that, when I told him they had an attitude, he was like, well, go tell them not to come. And so I had to go back and tell him we're not, and I said, what am I supposed to tell them? That you're going to church with me? And he said, okay.
Oh, wow. So to get out of the dinner, you told him that you got to come to church with me then. And that's how it came.
No, that's not exactly how I said it. I just said, should I tell her that you're
just
going?
As a cover story.
Yeah. So kind of tell her that you're going to church with me. And he said, yeah. And I'm like, well, but I think that our pastor had a lot to do with it, because we had a new pastor in between all this. And he was young. And that really impressed Pastor, that a young man would be a preacher. And he came down and prayed for Pastor too. He's the one that was preaching.
Jones.
Yeah, Ron Jones. And anyway, he went to church with me that night. We sat on the back row, of course. And the pastor that was there, I can't remember his name. Anyway, he walked back to the seat where we were sitting and asked Pastor to come pray if he'd like to. And Pastor said, yeah. And he said he prayed the prayer of a child, and from there on, he's been saved.
Was it an instant radical change?
Yeah, it was. But we came home that night, and the next morning, some of his buddies come over. Said, we heard you got saved. Little towns, news travels fast. And Pastor said, yeah, I got Jesus. And from there on, he was a total different man. At first, I would get embarrassed in church when he'd raise his hands, because I thought, that's just not him.
Really?
Yeah. And then he started going around town. He'd walk in he'd know where all the poker games were and that kind of stuff. And he'd walk in and he'd just slap a flyer down in the middle of the table and tell them about Jesus. And he said, I'm not doing it anymore.
Wow.
Running
He got
around.
bold very quickly, huh?
Yes. And every morning before church, Sunday morning, they went to the lake and they preached to the fishermen and the boaters and whatever. And but he just got into it. We were only in church 2 years when another pastor invited him to be assistant pastor.
Mm-hmm.
And so he said yes. And we went up there, and we were there, I don't know, maybe a year. I'm not sure now. I forget. We moved into the attic of the church. And
we've heard Pastor Campbell talk about this story quite a bit, but I don't think I've ever heard you talk about it.
Yeah.
What was that like for you?
It was fine. We bought our own carpeting and put it down, and it was nicer than what we were living in down here.
It was an upgrade for you.
Yes, it was.
Man, we never heard that side of the story.
Yeah. Anyway, it was he used to get mad at me if I'd say anything about his home living
Really?
and growing up.
Yeah.
Like
he was embarrassed about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so. He used to get mad at me for it, but because we were married a year before I met his family, for his mother and dad, and he'd never told me about them being poor or living. He told me they had a house here and one in Chicago, and they had a balcony on the lake, and all this stuff, and none of it was true. Wow. So after a year, his aunt told me, and so he said, yeah, it's true. And
well, Miss Connie, you have been such a pillar of faith, as long as I've known you, and my wife, and other ladies in the church, and I guess I would love to hear what kind of advice you would give to somebody, a pastor's wife, or anybody who's in the faith and maybe going through some struggles, because you've had plenty of struggles that you've had to go through also.
It would depend on what they were going through, I suppose.
Yeah.
That would be
but because Pastor Campbell has the pulpit and he has the spotlight a lot.
Right.
I guess my question would be, what has been your way of supporting him in his position?
Not being a preacher.
Yeah.
And not telling him what to do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, some women go out and then they want to overpower their husband. And I think that's probably the best thing I ever did. Is not even when he first got saved, I felt in my own spirit, don't tell him everything you know, because he needs to lead me, not me lead him.
You gave him a lot of space.
I did.
Yeah.
And telling women, like I said, it'd be what their situation was. Like, somebody's come to us, they lost a child. Mm-hmm. Sorry.
It's a soft spot for you, huh?
Yeah. The older I get, softer it gets. Mm-hmm. But, they'll come and ask my advice, what we did. And, I just said, even the same week that we buried her, we were starting a conference. Right. We went to conference. We always kept God first. We decided from the very beginning.
It's like you did.
God was first, no matter what. She was God's child first and then ours.
Yeah.
And so he could take her if he wanted to. But I'm sorry, the year before she died, I had my last child. Mm-hmm. And
that would be
it was J-Rel, yeah, a girl. Mm-hmm. And she, I know it was God that gave her to me. She was she saved us through a lot, because she was only a year old when Gail died.
Mm-hmm. You had something you had to take care of.
Yeah. I mean, I had to change diapers. I had to make formula. I had to love her. Mm. And I knew God knew that. He gave her to me before he took the other one. And it just always... Anyway, we treated her like an angel. Still do, probably. But she really saved us a lot by having her.
Well, I know she's a big blessing in your life now.
Oh, she is. She's always been a blessing. I can think of no time that child was never a blessing. Sometimes she wishes she wasn't. I think, I'm still mom, and I tell her when she's driving, do this or do that. When you're driving, do this. And she'll say, Mom, I'm 40 years old now, and I know how to drive. But I still tell her she'll always be my kid.
So when Pastor Campbell was driving me around a minute ago, he mentioned something several times that caught my attention. He said that, for example, when the opportunity for you to go to Malaysia,
Yeah.
he came to talk to you and said, you said, if it's God, then let's do it.
Yeah.
And that seems like a common theme from you.
Yeah.
Where did
so
where do you think that immediate willingness to do the will of God, where did that come from?
I don't know.
I'm asking because that's not so automatic for everybody else.
Right. It was for me. I just always believed the man was the head of the home, and you follow him. He doesn't follow you, you follow him. Since I was a little kid.
I tell you what, that has been such a blessing, even for me and my wife, Taya.
Yeah.
Because she follows your example.
Oh, good.
And I'm sure she's not the only one. That willingness that you have has played out from everybody who has been saved and discipled in Chandler. And I guess as a pastor that benefits from that, I want to say thank you on behalf of everybody who has have a life with that same spirit. It's amazing.
Thank you for saying that, but I'm sure not everybody's following.
Well, there's many.
Yeah.
And it's a high percentage, I'm sure.
Yeah.
So you have a great legacy.
Oh, good.
So thank you.
You're welcome.
Well, what about from Chandler? I guess I'm sure a lot of people from the Chandler church are going to watch this, and the relationship between you and the Chandler church has been miraculous for 40 plus years.
It's been good. I love the church. I love the people. I love what, God's done. And I tell them wherever I have to testify, how much I love them. And it's always about all I can say. I love you guys. It doesn't matter what you do or what you say. And even when you get upset, we still love you. Mm-hmm. And we don't mind, we love you as much as we did before. So
was it an adjustment for you when, because there was many years that obviously you were very involved in all of the ministries and everything that's happening, music and finances, and there was a time that you kind of had to start taking a step back away from those things, and that was an adjustment. Yeah,
as I got older, I started stepping back from, like The Office, and I turned it over to Cynthia, and then.
Was that tough for you to let some of those things go?
It was. Not at first. It was kind of like a relief almost at first. And then it was like, now I almost feel like nobody sometimes. Sorry.
Yes.
Because I had to turn everything over. I can't do it anymore. But
well, you have so much just for remaining steadfast in your faith is such a gift to everybody that's around you, and so you should be encouraged.
Yeah, I can still do that, but I can't run around and do stuff. I have to use a wheelchair, or I use a walker at home and the wheelchair at church. Yeah. But it's like, I can remember jumping up out of my seat and running back and telling children's church, you're too loud, or I can't do even that anymore.
Yeah.
So it's like, and a lot of things, Pastor has took over a lot of house duties, which I feel really bad for.
Oh, you shouldn't. You did it for plenty of years.
That's what he said. I took care of him for 70 years. Now he can take care of me. So, but I hate for him to have to do it. I don't feel like it's his place.
Mm-hmm.
And, I can't do nothing.
Well,
so
you've done so much. I think it's such a gift. I was just one more question. I wanted to ask you, of all of the many adventures you've had in faith, one of them I remember is when you came to Bulgaria for us.
Oh,
that was such a wild time.
Yeah.
But do you have any particular adventures that stand out in your mind from your time in the ministry, places that you've been? Or
probably most of them.
Really?
I sit down every once in a while and think how blessed we are to get to do so much, see so much of the world.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, Pastor travels all the time, so I've never counted the countries he's been in, but and I've been in at least 30.
Wow.
And I'm so grateful for that. I mean, I never thought I'd get to go to Mexico probably,
Mm-hmm.
but God has really blessed us, and we're really, really thankful.
Yeah. And what Pastor Campbell was explaining is that blessing was not a no cost, that there was generosity throughout the years, and your giving and your being willing to sow into other people's lives.
And I tell women that you need to, tithe and give. And I always do that. Everything I tithe. A lot of people think, well, if you get a money gift, you don't have to tithe on it. That's wrong. I tithe on it, plus I give on it. Pastor does. Pastor's very grateful, and he's a real dad to a lot of people,
including me.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for taking the time. I appreciate your openness and your honesty.
Okay. Well, thank you. Just edit all that out.
Thank you.